Today on PhotowalkS, we are going to experience one of the world's greatest road trips, the Central California coast. Despite the mudslides, despite the road closures, we're still going to see Big Sur at her best. I'm Jefferson Graham. I'm a lifelong photographer and journalist. On PhotowalkS, we are visiting the world's most photographable places, and I'm offering tips on how to get pro-level photos on your phone. Now, before we get going, 3 quick things you need to do. First of all, is your battery at 100%? Have you checked your storage to make sure you have room for photos and videos? And have you cleaned off your lens in case it's dirty? That said, let's go on a photo walk. The road trip from Carmel to Hearst Castle on California's Highway 1 is considered one of the great drives and photo expeditions of all time. 90 windy miles of driving through one nature masterpiece after the next. Big Sur, the main attraction, has changed dramatically in recent times with mudslides and road closures that have changed the way that we can experience her. Look at this sign behind me. The other attractions on Highway 1 on the other side of Big Sur all boarded up.
And if they really want to make the trek, they can go all the way around and come through and come down, from Carmel and Monterey.
And how hard is that? How much does that add, like an hour?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Is a Highway 1 Big Sur road trip still worth it? Well, let's find out together as we continue down the road all the way until the road closes and then some.
Let's start by taking a look at the Big Sur highlights from the north side that are really easy to see and photograph before the road closures. Bixby Bridge, of course, Pfeiffer Rock, the great view from the Nepenthe restaurant, the deserted beach of Andrew Molera State Park, and of course, all those pull-offs for views and photo ops.
I've heard from a lot of people that come from all over the place to come see, the coastline here. It's very much like Hawaii, but it's the best coastline, it's the best views, it's amazing, it's beautiful. So I honestly say make the trek if you can.
Our Big Sur North trip will take us from the bridge to the end of the road south of Nepenthe. Then we'll need to do a U-turn, go back the way we came, drive to Salinas for the 101, take the 46 pull-off to Cambria and San Simeon, and that'll take us about 45 minutes up the road past Gorda to Lucia, and then the road will close. But first, let's begin by saying hi to Bixby Bridge.
The unofficial start of your Highway 1 Big Sur road trip on the best side of the road, this side, the coast side. And if you recognize the bridge, you've probably seen it in countless movies and TV shows. And you're also wondering, how do I get a really great shot of this bridge? Where are the many possibilities of standing? Let's go over it right now.
Bixby Bridge attracts folks from all over, eager to get a selfie in front of the famous bridge. For your shot, there's several ways to get it. Most people choose the north side, and from here you could either stand at the foot of the bridge or step down several paths for a different angle.
Okay, so there's more down there. I don't trust my shoes, so I'm not going to go any further, but you can.
You can also walk or drive across the bridge to get it from the south side.
So, okay, we did north and south, and of course I'm waiting for you guys to vote on which one you prefer. Meanwhile, one more option.
Drive up the back road on the north side and go up about a half a mile up the road, turn around, and check out that great overhead view from up here.
Didn't take very long to get to the top of this road, let me tell you. But the moral of the story is keep on trying, keep on looking.
Now it's the Point Sur Light Station. The lighthouse, which first opened in 1889, is generally closed to the public, except just a few times a week when there are tours. I caught the 3-hour tour, which was mostly talk, but after a long climb up the hill, we finally got to the top and were able to go inside. The best part was walking to the top of the lighthouse, where we were allowed to get photos from the deck. Now, beyond getting photos of the beautiful lighthouse, the tour also affords you drone-like sky-high views of the amazing coast for miles and miles. Next up, just a few miles down the road, is the Andrew Molera State Park and a really fun little short 1 mile hike to a deserted, gorgeous Big Sur beach. If you had to pick the definitive images of Big Sur, you'd surely begin with Bixby Bridge. But next up is easily the majestic Pfeiffer Keyhole Arch, and with good reason. It's so awesome to look at. But warning, even though Google Maps will show you how to get there, the turnoff for the road is unmarked.
If you follow me, we're going to drive down this way. It's right down here, and the sign marker, you won't see anything that says the name Pfeiffer Beach Rock or anything like that. Narrow road, no pedestrians, no RVs, no trailers. So it's right by the stop sign, right by the mailboxes.
And from here, it's a 2 mile drive down to the parking lot, which has room for 65 cars.
Picture-wise, they say the best time to get this photo is at sunset, though last night the colors weren't there. It was really windy, and because the sun was over there, you couldn't really see the texture of the rocks, which we can see now. I think morning is wonderful. I think there's a glow out there, some blues and some little reds that you're just not going to see in a few minutes once the sun starts to shine on there, so I look forward to getting that shot.
We stayed just up the way from Pfeiffer Rock at the Big River Inn, our favorite hotel in Big Sur. They have 8 rustic woodline cabins that really make you feel like you're in the woods, which of course you are. There's a restaurant across the way, a gift shop, and they even have reminders to fill up on gas, which is very important as gas stations are few and far between here. Do note that you'll pay a good $1 to $2 more a gallon here when you fill up. One really nice feature at the hotel is across the way, where you can take your chairs and relax in the water. Programming note, the River Inn is not a sponsor. We paid full fare for our visit. The great master photographer Ansel Adams spent much of his later years in Big Sur, which he called undoubtedly among the most beautiful of the untouched lands. And one of his most iconic shots was of Point Sur, which you can look out at and photograph from the deck of the Nepenthe restaurant, which besides the amazing view, happens to be one of the great restaurants to stop at here on the northern Big Sur trip. Beyond the deck, if you keep on driving south, you can pick up a similar shot from one of the many overlooks. Don't forget to get out of the car. Everything looks way better from here. Well, the last thing you can see on the northern side of Big Sur before the road closes is McWay Falls. It's a short little walk once you park and take a little hike. The waterfall is not the biggest you've ever seen. It's a little thin, but it's definitely worth getting out of the car to take a look at.
I think Big Sur is a place you definitely have to visit. Alone because of the road and all the views you get from here. There are so many vista points you can stop by, and yeah, it's breathtaking. Right now I'm feeling really lucky that we could have made the drive, because I looked it up and this is not the first time you had such a big road slide.
As we come to the end of the road, we're starting to see those nasty warning signs.
It's kind of hard living in paradise. It's beautiful, of course, but you know, as everyone knows, there's a lot of fire that happens through here, and road closures, rock slides, mudslides, that kind of thing. Even when it's dry, there's still movement happening. So we just never know. We cross our fingers, okay, fall, but we're not holding our breath either.
Well, as you can see, the road is closed, so that's the end of our northern part of the Big Sur road trip, but there's more in store. There's no detour here, so we're going to go all the way back around over to the Monterey Carmel area to Salinas, down one road, down another road, and then we're going to check out the southern part of the Big Sur road trip.
Meanwhile, after the break, I'm going to show you how to get from this closed road to the other side of Big Sur and answer the question whether that side is worth the effort to get there. So you got yourself one of those new iPhone 16s and you hope to use it to get great photos and videos, and you find yourself asking a few questions like, where did that instruction manual go to show me how to use the new camera control feature? What's the best way to make use of those enhanced styles photos? And more importantly, how exactly can I add styles to my photo after the fact? And hey, I love those new high-resolution 4K slow-mo videos on the Pro models, but where did my 5X telephoto lens disappear to in the slow-mo app? How come I can't find it? Good news, everybody. I've got answers to those questions and plenty more in my iPhone 16 camera course. It's a 45-minute deep dive into the latest and greatest from Apple, and it's available at jeffersongraham.com/courses. Welcome back to Photo Walks in our Big Sur, California road trip. Now, before the break, we headed down Highway 1 and we visited the iconic Bixby Bridge, the Sur Lighthouse, the Pfeiffer Keyhole Arch, and the world-famous Nepenthe restaurant, home of the best view on the coast. But then California mudslides caused a massive road closure, which required a different way to continue the road trip. We had to make a U-turn and go all the way back up the road past all those places we had already visited, going through Carmel and over to Salinas to Highway 101 South. The 126-mile drive eventually got us back to the coast, where we continued the trip, this time on the south side.
We spent the night in the really cute coastal town of Cambria, otherwise known as Little Sur, sort of the gateway to where Big Sur will begin in San Simeon and Hearst Castle just up the road. Check out the sign though, and the references to Big Sur have been erased because of the road closures. How far can we get? What do we see? Stay tuned. We're going to jump in the car and go find out together.
San Simeon is our first stop, and it will be the most memorable of the southern portion of Big Sur. Here is where you're going to find the old Hearst Castle, which was the former home of newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst, and it was fictionalized as Xanadu in the movie Citizen Kane. Now part of the California State Park system, the castle is known for its terraces, those incredible pools, gardens, and all that art. In San Simeon, there's not much to the town, just a bunch of roadside motels, a park, and a pier, but you do want to check out the free attraction on the side of the road, those elephant seals. Where do you find the seals? Well, they're about 5 miles up the road from the turnoff to the castle, clearly marked with a big parking lot. Viewing is free and the area is open all year round, but note to travelers, the best time to view them is December through March, which is mating season, as you can see. Directly across the street from the elephant seals, you've got the grand attraction of San Simeon, the Hearst Castle. Tours start at $35, and on a good day, if you're lucky afterwards, you just might also find some zebras on the side of the road. How did they get there? Hearst brought them in when he built the property. How do you find them? Well, look for the cars pulled over on the side of the road. You can't miss it. And now, even though we went about it the long way, we finally get our traditional Welcome to Big Sur greeting sign some 15 miles up the road from Hearst Castle. At least that's the welcome for the people who drive up the coast from the south, the same folks who have been turning back due to the road closures. Here you will find the Ragged Point Inn, a traditional gas and food stop, motel, restaurant, and really just a wonderful place to walk around and enjoy the magnificent coastal view. You can do it the easy way and just stand there looking out at the water, or if you're feeling very hardy, walk all the way down on the Ragged Point Inn hike. Additionally, it's not the Pfeiffer Keyhole arch, but this little wooden structure makes a wonderful frame for a photo of the coast. Give it a try. Note that the Ragged Point Inn has 39 guest rooms, many with an ocean view, some 350 feet above the Pacific, and is also a popular gathering spot for Big Sur wedding celebrations. And again, you might want to take advantage of that gas pump.
Drive is really special. My one piece of advice is hit the gas station and the restroom before you start the drive.
Right.
Because you're going to go 80 miles and not find another good place to stop.
After you leave Ragged Point, you've got about a 12-mile drive up the road, a very windy drive up the road, and the next stop is Gorda, which has seen better days due to the lack of customers. When I was there, I was just about the only human in town. The cafe hadn't opened yet, but the gift shop was. From there, in normal times, motorists would continue another 12 miles up the road to visit Lime Kiln State Park, a place for hiking through the woods and viewing the historic stone and steel kilns that the park is named after. However, the park and camping area are currently closed due to the mudslides. I couldn't get in, but I can show you what it looked like upon my last visit with those beautiful natural waterfalls. Finally, beyond Gorda, the last stop is Lucia, which once upon a time had a motel and a restaurant, but now pretty much nothing is open. When I visited, all I saw was a taco truck on the side of the road, which I got the sense would be open later in the day. It was kind of a ghost town and very sad. As I inched further up the road, I started to get those same signals that a U-turn was in my future.
All right, that's the end of the road again, this time on the south side. You got the north about 2 to 3 miles up the road. That's where the mudslide is. And if you have a choice of the south versus the north is where your best photographic highlights are. The south is really nice as well. The highlights are, of course, Hearst Castle and San Simeon and the elephant seals. And if you go over 46, you can go right there without having to come up here. A lot of the places are closed, and you can enjoy the Central Coast from there as you continue down the road. Meanwhile, let's take a quick look back at some of the photographic highlights that we have explored here in Big Sur.
After the break, it's photo tip time.
It's photo tip time, where I show you how to get great photos on your mobile phones and offer you a few tricks of the trade. Let's begin with that shot of me walking in front of the Bixby Bridge. Just normal, just going down the road, and then all of a sudden, it looks like I was photographed from the moon as it turns into a little planet. Well, how did I do that? With this crazy Insta360 camera. This is the X4. They also have an X3. Notice that there's a lens on both sides, and it sees everything. Now, the planet thing that I told you about, that's in their software. That's a little trick. You just click a button and you get that effect. Now, but the big one is called the invisible selfie stick. This guy will just be taken away. As I walk down the street, I can walk down the street like this, and all you're gonna see is my hand in front of my chest. When you hold it to the side, it looks a little weird, so this is a good way to do it. Sometimes we do it like that, and then my hand is right here, so that's a little odd. But the invisible selfie stick overall, where you use it is to get a shot of you and other people from, let's say, a hot air balloon or something like that. It worked well at Bixby Bridge.
It also worked great at the top of the Point Sur Lighthouse, where I was able to stand there, hold the selfie stick out, extending my arms, and wave to the camera, and it got it all. It got it all.
Don't forget about how important it is to look for additional angles of popular spots. Most people take photos of Bixby Bridge by standing in front of it on the north side. The south side is fantastic, but it's really amazing just to stand here and take it all in and look down there and open up your camera.
The north and south side are amazing, but if you really want something a little bit more unique, drive up the side of the road on the north side just a bit and then quickly turn around. And what about lenses?
As always, I shoot at every focal length. I use every one of these lenses. I go from ultra wide to telephoto. Don't think this is a telephoto shot, but you never know until later.
You could use the 0.5 ultra wide, the 1x wide, or the telephoto. Take a look through my lens and see what you think. Ultra wide, wide, or close up? Well, if you ask me, I'm voting for choice number 2. Number 1 is great. It shows the expanse of the area and the bridge, but the 1X nails it, making the bridge more prominent, as well as showing the location. Telephoto, just too close. You don't get the sense of the place when you zoom in. That's my point of view. You see a bunch of elephant seals at the side of the road. How are you going to capture them? Well, for starters, move to get the right angle. Left, right, center, you name it. If you're shooting video, and you should, because that's where they really come to life, wait for the elephant seals to move, which they will. In this case, unlike Bixby Bridge, the telephoto lens is our number 1 choice. Close-ups aren't exactly flattering of the elephant seals, but you do want to get closer to capture the movement, and you're not allowed to get physically closer. So if you have a 2x, 3x, or 5x telephoto, use it.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Photo Walks. For more information about the places that we visited, check out our website. And don't forget to come back next week for another episode of Photo Walks.